concentrated in one city. Like in the US, if you wanted to speak to the politicians, you go to DC. If you want to speak with the entertainment industry, you go to LA. If you want to speak to the media industry, you go to New York, like, and so on and so forth. Here, you take the tube, and it's like 2 stops away, or you take your bike. And I think that's really unique about London. So increasingly, in places like Israel or San Francisco, if you throw a rock, you're going to hit an entrepreneur, most likely. In London, it wasn't the case. But in East London, it's starting to be the case. And it's cool to be an entrepreneur. Graduates finish school and they feel like actually startup is a potential career for me. I don't just have to go and work for the bank. So I think that we have a lot going for London, although we're still very early in the journey of London. I compare it mostly to New York, but it's going to take us much less time to get to where New York is today than it took them. And the liabilities, there's, unfortunately, the cost of living is a structural, risk that you can take out. It costs a lot of money to live in London. And if you have a £50,000 investment, it's going to last you less, probably. Technical talent, there seems to be a shortage of technical talent. Just look at the cork board at campus or the job board that we have that's really popular. And technical talent is the thing that's in most demand. And from what I hear, the graduates don't leave school with the level that the startups need them to have. So they study classic computer science, but studying computer science today doesn't mean coding, and it doesn't mean hacking, and this is what you need to be a successful startup.
So it's like that classical Cambridge education. You're not necessarily, like you said, doing the hackathons and coding real world solutions.
We need to adapt the curriculums and make them much more, tied to, first of all, new technologies, not just what we've been always studying in the past. And second, it needs to be much more hands-on, practical. And then there's the other thing about ambition, vision, confidence, which is a cultural thing, really, and it has to do with role models, and it has to do with, with being exposed to it. Because frankly, if you're a first-time entrepreneur and maybe you're afraid of failing, you don't want to take even bigger risk. You want to get to revenue relatively quickly. The angels, want their money back relatively quickly. It's a question of maturity, and I think that's going to change. And it's going to change with role models, and it's going to change where, with this, like, some sort of thought leadership of people hearing, like Bill Maris was talking at campus on Tuesday, it's okay to fail. Silicon Valley is dripping with failure. And actually, you want to invest in someone that failed before, because then they know they already made a few mistakes on someone else's dime, and you can count on the fact that they learned something out of it. So I think that we need to keep saying it, not take things for granted, and we're going to get there.
Yeah, that's it's interesting. I think that's going to change really fast, just because I know it's a British cultural thing to not to be a little bit risk averse and to look at the newspapers. It's like we rip down our celebrities and that kind of thing. Yeah. But in London, I mean, look at the three of us. We're all foreigners here. There's so many foreign people coming through this town that it's becoming its own kind of personality of visiting people in finance or tech or whatever. And I think that whole mentality will change super fast, faster than an American city, I would guess.
I think I agree with you. There was I just read in some article that Scotland has their bid to maybe they want to become independent maybe, and they're asking their people if they want to be an independent country versus being part of the United Kingdom. And then some people are saying that London should be its own independent country, like we have our city state,
Singapore or something, yeah.
And I don't think that we want to go there, but it is a metropolis, and it's a very unique place. I remember during the Olympics, the mayor said that London is the only city in the world that no matter what nationality you're from, you're going to have a local fan base of 10,000 people minimum, no matter what country in the world you're from. We just ran last month a survey of campus members, and we got something like 1,300 responses. So it's a small sample of the campus community. From the 1,300 responses, we actually haven't fully released the results of the survey, but I'm giving you guys a nugget. We asked people, where were you born? People responded from 98 different countries. Okay, from like Argentina to Zambia. You have the entire gamut of A to Z. 98 different countries. And this is also something that we shouldn't take for granted. Diverse teams make better decisions. So you need to have people from different cultures. You need to have women in your team. And if you're running a startup and you're a group of buddies from school, I would really encourage you to increase the diversity of your team, because you're going to make better decisions. You're going to understand your users better.